no gloves again.
Hello everybody, my name's Suzanne and I garden and grow cut flowers in Devon in the UK. Today I'm just taking you for the first garden tour of 2024. It's really hard to believe, looking at it how it looks now, which is just a barren wasteland, that in only a short matter of time it will be producing the most beautiful bouquets of cut flowers. So come along with me now and use your imagination, because honestly it really doesn't look like it's going to materialise into anything. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that flowers will grow in this waste. It looks like a wasteland, but they will grow in there soon. My friend Marion gave me a new sign for Christmas, so here it is. Oh, my shadow. Okay, so you can see it's still a mess, but it's a lot tidier than it was in the last tour. Let's start over by the big piles of soil, because obviously that looks like a mess, but it's actually the beginnings of the polytunnel. So we'll go and take a look. So this is one of the corner holes, and this is the other corner hole. So I might have to do this from the other side because of the sun actually. Another corner hole. Look at the soil that come out. So this is subsoil. So this is obviously when you dig down really deep. And my subsoil is clay. You can see you could actually make a model out of that. Look at that, that's so heavy clay. And in fact, you can see, I mean, it hasn't rained today, but these holes are all holding a lot of water. I mean, I need to show you how deep the holes are really for you to understand how much water there is in there. I don't think any of them are empty though. I think they've all got water in them. They're not all dug. Oh, this one you can see is a bit deeper. And then obviously this is just marking where one needs to be dug. Is this one empty? I mean this one gives you a bit of a better idea of how deep they're going to be. But I mean there is still water in there. We just have a really high water table. But anyway, this will be the middle pathway in the polytunnel that I'm walking down now. So let me try and mark it out. We can see, so there's the hole. Where's my, oh here we are, I'm never very good at this. So, and then the line of the polytunnel will go along where those metal rods are, along there at the end, and then down here to finish in this hole here. And there'll be doors at both ends for ventilation. Okay, so that's coming along nicely. There's my wheelbarrow of weeds. So this bed, obviously all of the ties, plant supports will need retensioning, but I'll do that when I plant this up. This has just got some achillea at the top there, and then down here there is actually, you can barely see it, but perennial scabious, and there are some delphiniums, and you can just see a delphinium coming up there, but there are 6 in there somewhere. Roses all seem to be doing okay. These ones have got some lovely new shoots on. These are they're probably the best ones I've grown for cut flowers. They're always really healthy and vigorous. This is Champagne Moment. I'll try and pop in a picture of what they look like. They're great. This bed here is just covered at the moment. It's just making it easier to work on the area, which will be the polytunnel. This one I haven't weeded yet, but this is perennials. This one I have weeded, but I haven't cut back. You can see this is oregano. You can see all of the new oregano growing up, and this is all, I mean, this is good for wildlife, so I can cut this down. You know, it'll only take 30 seconds to cut down. There's no hurry. I'm sure the oregano didn't used to take up quite so much space though. It really is creepy. It's a bit like mint. It really does take over. This area I started weeding and I didn't because there was a ladybird in there. So I wanted to leave the ladybird alone. But this has all been weeded. So this is Dumes. I grew from seeds a few years ago. Lady Stratodon. To be honest, I don't know why I'm keeping them in a bed. They're taking up bed space. They're not exactly a high value cut flower crop. Toad flax if it comes back. This is loose strife if it comes back. And then I've put some seed and cuttings in here, which you can see are actually doing pretty well. They're starting to come up there. More oregano, which probably, I think I should dig this out because otherwise this bed's going to get taken over as well. This was Rebecca Sahara. Some of it's hung on a bit. You can see the green just here, but I'm going to re-sow anyway. This is Achillea, feverfew. It doesn't matter if they don't come back. I've got 2 trays of feverfew. Euphorbia oblongata. This is oh, I don't like this weed. And I did the weeding yesterday and I obviously missed you. This is my Aquilegia. There's one. There's one. There's one. And then this here, you can see coming up, is sea holly. I've only got a few of those. They're really hard to grow from seed. Lamb's ear at the end here. This is a really good foliage. And then this is Dianthus. That looks like a... I did try and sort of get rid of all my sweet rocket because I don't really use it, but there's a few bits of sweet rocket in here. I think that's an Icelandic poppy. I didn't really get on with those either. This is cow parsley here, which is good for in the spring. More sweet rocket and foxgloves. These are apricot foxgloves here. These are my children. Look. This is the first year for my hellebores, so I'm leaving them alone. Just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So this is the first year for my hellebores, so they're obviously teeny tiny. In fact, this one is struggling, but it is still alive. I think I have 2 of each of colours, but oh, aren't they lovely? So this will be like a white there. This one's still quite heavily in bud, but it's lovely to see signs of spring there. Really pleased with my colour choices. Lovely. So this is my trench of daffodils, which I gotta be honest is a bit sporadic for the amount I planted. I think potentially they're not deep enough. So what I'll do when they've flowered this year, I'll just put a whole load of soil on top rather than dig them up and move them. I'll just make them deeper by piling more on top for next year. Because this ABBA is supposed to have 40 centimetre stem, but you can see it's about 6 inches, not quite 40 centimetres. The sweet pea frame has been moved down here, so I'll only grow one side of it now because obviously behind it is north, so it will just be facing south, and we'll see how it goes. It's my last year for sweet peas, I think. That low tunnel's obviously not covered. This one I haven't looked in for ages. I did put some anemones in there. Well, the anemones look dreadful. In fact, they almost look like they're being eaten in here as well. So in the tunnel, we've got some Greek cress at the end there that really should have been thinned out. And then some anemones which look as if they're being eaten. All I can see is stalks, where these ranunculus and anemones were. But it doesn't look like voles have been in here, so I wonder who's eaten them. Can you see all these stalks? Can you see these stalks that look like weeds or grass? These are ranunculus, and then these ones are anemones, and they've clearly been eaten by something. Yeah, I mean the soil's really, I mean look, they've just been completely nibbled off. Really, I need to dig them up and put them in. I mean these ranunculus, I hope they weren't my really good ones. They've just, yeah, they've got no leaves on anymore. So this is where my sweet peas were. It's just a bit of a mess. There's a few perennials in there, just self-seeded in there. There's some feverfoo, foxgloves. This is my lady's mantle. I had little babies that are planted all the way around the edge, which are okay, and then these are their mothers here. A load of self-sown nigella, and then these are my peonies, tiny teeny peonies. Can you see there's a shoot there? Can't see a shoot on that one, but do you know what, this is far too wet for them. There is another eye there, and then there are some eyes there. This is too wet for them really. You can see by the water in the ditch here that peonies are not going to like that, so I'm going to have to rethink that. Okay, so this is all Canterbury Bells, Honesty, I know it's a bit of Phacelia, a few teeny tiny foxgloves, and then the tulips I said I wasn't putting in the cutting garden have just ended up in here, just because I was too lazy to dig a ditch, so I just put them all in a place, and I just threw them in because they were free. These were the ones I got for free, so I don't know if they, you know, what they're going to be like, but I just chucked them in a hole and covered them over, so we'll see. This is Dianthus barbatus, that's pink, and then this is Dianthus barbatus white. This is an empty bed, which will probably be dahlias eventually. I think I have got some tulips in here too. I planted them really, really late. This bed is, again, yeah, these beds are just in the middle of being done. They need the ditches finishing that go around the edge, and they need the mulch all raking out. This one is done, so the ditch is done, it's been mulched, it's been covered. This one is clearly not done. This is as it was left in the autumn. And then we're back to the peonies and survey what's going on. So yeah, still a bit of a mess, but I'm pleased I can say that I've made progress since you were last here. But on a really positive note, my greenhouse floor is concreted, so I'm really very, very happy about that. I've got some seed sowing and things to do at the weekend, so I'm going to sort of start getting a few more trays ready for that. Loads more mulching, cutting back things from last year to get the beds prepped, and just, you know what it's like, it's a never-ending list of gardening jobs. So these are the phlox tapestry mix that was started in the airing cupboard. They're out in the greenhouse now, but I'm afraid I did have a few issues with slugs in my kitchen, would you believe? So some of them have had to be sort of pricked out, and I've moved them all down one end, and I've got a blank end here. And the same for this is the creme brulee. The slugs have been in here a bit as well. Now this is the snapdragon experiment, and interestingly the cells that were empty a few weeks ago in the B&Q, I think it was this one, and it must have been this one, have actually germinated now. So they have actually germinated through the board, and they're all growing on nicely. This one up here is looking quite nice. He's got his true leaf. Well, they've all seemed to have their true leaves coming. And then I moved the horse manure out because nothing had germinated there, and then I just pricked out a couple of teeny tinies just to fill the tray up a bit more. So at the moment they're growing on equally, I would say. I don't know where the slugs came from, if they came from the compost. I don't usually have slugs in my kitchen. And then these are some stock that were not done in the airing cupboard, so they've got quite sporadic germination. And then who are you? This would be a Dorcas, I should think. I don't know which colour. I think this is all Dorcas. And then some really sorry for themselves snapdragons that, to be honest, probably want throwing away. They're really weedy and they're not strong, healthy, vigorous plants. Largely because they have been eaten constantly all winter. And the same goes for my ranunculus. They were amazing, and then they've been eaten by voles. They've grown back. They've been eaten by voles. They've grown back. And the same can be said for the anemones. So they're trying, but it's not been easy for them. These are delphinium. These are larkspur. A couple of cerinthiae. I need to pinch those out. And then again, my poor Amy have just been eaten, grown back, eaten, grown back. So nothing's thriving. It's surviving, not thriving. These were some cherry caramel that was started in the airing cupboard. I wonder if the humidity might not be quite good enough for them to finish coming up in here. Okay, those ones are doing a bit better. But I think they do better if they start in the airing cupboard and then stay in the house for a day or two. I'm just, at this point, struggling for room in the house. Really big thank you for coming along again with me this week. A really special thank you to Kim Clare, one of my subscribers, who suggested that I start up some sort of Patreon or buy me a coffee. And I did that, and she's very kindly been my first contributor. And with that in mind, I've been initially looking at buying some sort of microphone, just so that it improves the sound quality of the clips. And then moving forward, I'd really love to get a camera, because I do find sometimes it's just a little bit frustrating. I really want to bring you some content. I love chatting with you all on the comments, but sometimes I find something that should be so simple is so difficult. So if you do enjoy watching my videos and you would like to help in any way, then I have now put a link in the blurb to my main page, and also I will put it on this video as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week.